Hey, what's going on? My name is Daniel McLaughlin and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today I thought we could talk about some Kemper profiles, and I want to talk about some of my favorites from this year. Now these aren't all like paid profiles or put your email in here to get whatever. They're just ones that I've gotten a lot of use out of this year. Now granted, this is all my opinion, so if you've got some profiles you want to recommend me, put them down in the comments. I'd love to check them out. And if you enjoyed this video, can you leave me a like? I'd really appreciate it. Alright, let's get into it. So my fifth favorite profile from this year is actually one that isn't necessarily available for purchase. It's also not available for download anywhere. But I had to make mention of kind of my interaction with this guy named Jamie Barnes this year, which he reached out to me after he saw some of my Filmo Sound stuff. And he has a Bernie amp, an EL84 Filmo Sound that was modified by Bernie Raunick, or maybe it was a duplicate, I can't really remember. But we got a nice little discussion going and we traded profile packs and we talked about the differences and stuff, and it was just nice to think about the little community that's developing here. So I just wanted to make mention of how nice that was. Plus this profile sounds excellent, and I actually used it recently for an entire gig, just relying on the more function to boost it a little bit and then riding my volume knob. Alright, so now into ones that you can actually acquire if you wanted to. The fourth on my list is the Tone Junkie 2-Stone BD, which is a profile pack of the 2-Rock Bloomfield drive. So I talk a lot about how the Kemper doesn't get the 2-Rock thing yet. I haven't done a good job of explaining what that means. Eventually I'll make a video on it once I can get my hands on a 2-Rock. But this profile pack, the 2-Stone BD drive, specifically the one with the Klon baked in, I just think it's a really nice, harmonically rich, clean tone. I find myself reaching for it when I need that kind of clean tone. It's the sound of like a very loud clean amp. But as we know how tube amps work, it's saturating just ever so slightly. So it's not exactly a dirty tone, it's just a fat, clean sound, and I like it a lot. Alright, so number 3 on my list was a profile pack that I made, but it's not something that I'm like charging for or anything like that. It was a Kemper experiment that I made a video about a little while ago, where I profiled a pedal. I profiled the JHS Colorbox V2, which has some transformers in it to make it sound like a souped up Neve 1073. It gets really gritty and it's good for like DI bass. It's really cool if you're going for that direct in sound like you'd hear with some Led Zeppelin recordings. But being able to use what the Kemper has to offer, I loaded an IR into the cabinet section on Rig Manager, and all of a sudden I've got something that sounds just like an amp. It kicks like an amp would. It's got a really unique breakup sound. I made 3 profiles. One was a clean, one was a distortion, and one was like an all-out fuzz. So here's what they sounded like. Put those profiles up on my Patreon page for free to download. Alright, so my second favorite profile of this year is the RM Pacheco Morgan AC20, which if you don't know about it, it's actually the top profile on the Rig Exchange. I don't know what it is about this profile. I mean, I kinda do, because the default setting for the amp volume is set very high, so naturally it's gonna sound better than other amps already. But it just winds its way into every single Kemper performance that I'm doing. I always have it set for either my clean tone or my kind of edge of breakup tone. I'm not even that big of a fan of Vox style amps, but this profile just sounds so good. Alright, and then number one, my favorite Kemper Profiles of 2021 are actually from this company called Past to Future Reverbs. And it's this profile pack that's based around direct profiles of a Seymour Duncan King tone generator. It's called a KTG1, and apparently people like Kevin Parker of Tame Impala really likes it. Actually, this whole profile pack is based around Tame Impala style sounds, but that's a sound that I really like, and just upon opening up this profile pack, everything was immediately cool sounding and very inspirational. The other thing that I liked about it was only 5 profiles, so I felt like I got to know each profile very well. Here's probably my favorite profile. These are direct profiles, so they sound a little grittier. They also can sound pretty wild on bass, as we know that distorted bass sound is kind of integral to the Tame Impala sound. So anyway, those were my top 5 Kemper packs of 2021. Let me know what you thought. Next week I have a holiday song video coming out, which will be cool. So if you want to stick around for that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching the video. I'll see you guys in the next one.